Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking just one single visual and completely dissecting it to build a master blueprint for your financial success. We're going to literally transform this illustration into a practical, step-by-step learning guide. Okay, so let's dive right into this essential question that honestly intimidates a lot of beginners. How do we actually get from numbers on a screen to real money in our hands? I mean, we all see those digits on our banking apps, right? But the real challenge is actually translating those digital metrics into tangible, physical security. To demystify this journey, we're going to follow a highly structured syllabus today. First, the wealth tracking blueprint. Then, Step 1, your financial dashboard. Step 2, charting upward momentum. Step 3, realizing tangible results. And finally, your next financial step.
The crucial point here is that we'll be breaking down our source image into these 3 consecutive, super actionable steps: track data, build momentum, and realize wealth. Now, throughout this explainer, I want you to think of managing your money kind of like using a wealth fitness tracker. Just as you monitor your physical steps to get healthier, you absolutely must rigorously track your financial inputs to build physical wealth. You know the old saying, right? You literally cannot optimize what you don't measure.
All right, moving into Section 1, the wealth tracking blueprint and seeing the big picture.
Let's take a look at our cheerful protagonist here, standing right in the center and maintaining this perfect balance. Over on the left, he's got a digital tracking tool, and on the right, the physical reward. He seamlessly bridges that gap between data and reality with total confidence, basically because he's operating on a solid system.
Okay, so that brings us to Step 1, your financial dashboard and tracking your inputs.
Now, what's really interesting here is the tablet firmly grasped on the left side, highlighting the absolute necessity of having a clear interface. He isn't just staring at some blank screen. He is actively monitoring localized data, like dollars and euros. This is it. Step 1 is establishing your tracking tool.
Notice the stark contrast here. In finance, you basically have 2 options. You can guess, cross your fingers and rely on blind luck and assumptions, or you can choose tracking. Surprisingly enough, behavioral studies consistently show that a huge chunk of the population has literally no accurate idea of what they spent last month. They're just totally guessing. But think about it. If you were training for a marathon, you wouldn't just guess your weekly mileage, would you?
No way.
Your wealth requires that exact same level of discipline.
Once you have your tool established, it's time for Step 2, charting upward momentum and the strategy of growth.
Looking closer at the tracking tool itself, notice those bold blue and green arrows pointing aggressively up and to the right. The raw data is being actively translated into a steep trajectory. So the ledger isn't just static, it visualizes actual momentum. Let's bring it back to our fitness tracker analogy for a second. Just like consistently hitting a step count goal eventually leads to better health, steady upward momentum on your financial charts compounds into some seriously significant growth over time. And sure, those arrows don't go straight up in a single perfectly vertical line. That's just unrealistic. They zig and zag a bit, but the overall trend is unmistakably upward. That right there is the strategy of growth. It's consistent, monitored effort.
Finally, we arrive at Step 3, realizing tangible results and the physical payoff.
Shifting our focus over to the right side, we see the very exciting direct result of his digital tracking. He isn't desperately reaching out to grab the money, his palm is just open and the wealth practically levitates right toward him. When tracking and momentum are firmly established, that physical realization naturally follows. It's just cause and effect.
Let's break down what that wealth actually looks like. The visual illustrates the payoff in these varied, highly tangible forms. You've got stacks of banded bills representing structured savings, loose, flowing greenbacks for liquid cash flow, and shiny, solid gold coins for those lasting assets. Basically, the digital tracking results in a perfectly diversified physical payoff.
Now that we've dissected this entire visual journey, let's look at your next financial step and putting it into practice.
Looking at this master blueprint one last time, from left to right, we see a perfect mini narrative of transformation. Your eye naturally travels from the tablet right up those growth arrows, across the man's confident smile, and lands right on that levitating cash. It starts with a tool, and it ends with wealth. Honestly, it's almost boringly predictable, but that is your visual roadmap. If you are ever feeling lost in your financial journey, just pull up this mental image. Remind yourself that the data on the left absolutely creates the reality on the right.
I want to leave you with this absolutely crucial quote. Financial clarity isn't magic. It's the result of tracking inputs to build upward momentum. Remember, getting financially fit is never an accident. It requires adopting the right dashboard, strategizing for that momentum, and having the discipline and the patience to actually see the physical payoff. The guy in our visual, he isn't a magician, he is a planner. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider for your own wealth generation journey. Look closely at your systems. What is your financial fitness tracker missing right now? Is it the dashboard, the upward momentum? Or are you just sitting back, waiting for the tangible results to magically appear out of thin air? Start tracking today and take control of that momentum.